So the last behavioral phenomenon we're going to discuss is the hot hands fallacy. This came up from basketball. So let's see what you think. A player just made the last 3 shots. What is the probability that he'll make his next shot? I don't know. If you're like me, when I'm watching, I'm like, it's probably pretty high. Like, he's on a roll, right? That's just the way we feel. What if the player just missed his last 3 shots? What is the probability that he'll make his next shot? I don't know. You feel like he's doing really crappy, right? It's just not his night, so probably really unlikely, right? These are the things that we feel, the way that we think about it. So here's a quote. If I'm on, I'm on. I find that confidence just builds. You can feel nobody can stop you. It's important to hit the first one, especially with a swish. Then another hit, and you feel like you can do anything. Right, so this is a really common kind of idea that once you're on a roll, you're on a roll. So let's compare results to actual data. And this is a study we're quoting here from 1985. And this, again, followed basketball players. So this is a psychology study on basketball players. The belief that success breeds success and failure breeds failure is a common idea. So they surveyed 100 basketball fans. 91% thought that a player had a better chance of making a shot after just having made his last 2 or 3 shots than he does after having missed his last 2 or 3 shots. Given a player who makes 50% of the shots, the subjects thought that the shooting percentage should be 61 after he just made a shot and 42 after he just missed a shot. Well, rationally, it should be 50-50, but 84% of them thought that it's important to pass the ball to someone who had just made several shots in a row. All right, so now let's compare this data, and you can see that this is using Bayesian updating, so it's the probability that he makes a shot, and given that he's missed his previous 3 shots is zeros, and then probability makes the shot given that you had just made a shot is over here, so you can see the logic of this. So they calculated the probability of making a shot after a previous 1, 2, or 3 missed shots. So here was your overall probability of making a shot. For this first player, it was 50-50. So no, it's 50-50 that he makes a shot versus that he makes the shot given that he's missed the last 3. It's the same. The probability that he makes a shot after he's made the last 3 is actually lower than the probability that he makes a shot after he'd missed a shot, right? So the actual data didn't conform to what people expected. Okay, so that's interesting. What is hot hands and what does it mean? So again, this is right from that paper. The independence between successive shots, of course, does not mean that basketball is a game of chance rather than skill, but it should render the game less exciting to play, or that it should render the game less exciting to play, watch, or analyze. It merely indicates that the probability of a hit is largely independent of the outcome of previous shots, though it surely depends on some parameters such as skill, distance from the basket, defensive pressure, etc. The availability of plausible explanation may contribute to the erroneous beliefs that a probability of a hit is greater following a hit than following a miss. So how does this idea apply to finance? We're talking about basketball here. What does this have to do with finance? All right, well, in finance, we can see this tendency, the idea that winners will continue to win, that losers will continue to lose, right? So mutual funds and investments provide a clustering illusion. Every year, funds that have exceptionally good performance receive a large inflow of funds the next year, even though there is a universal disclaimer on all funds that you can look at. Past performance does not guarantee future results. Yet still, people assume that that manager has quote-unquote hot hands and decide to go and invest in that. Now, some would argue that, oh, well, yeah, that's totally true, but we wouldn't see the same result if we were only talking about following an index fund strategy. This is only for funds that are directly managed, for people that have exhibited some sort of market timing ability, right? But what's interesting is that there are studies that you can look at that even show this occurring if you're following just a plain index strategy. You'll go out of one index fund into another. Makes no sense. A small investor who reads about a hot IPO that's scheduled to go public they get all excited about it and they want to get in on this IPO, even though we know historically that IPOs shoot up really high in the first day of trading and then go down, right? Until they, go down dramatically and then will go back up somewhere around a fundamental value. So this idea of someone being hot, something being on a roll, you got to get in on it, it's got to be next, shows that it's, we're not updating appropriately using our Bayesian updating.